So I have the pleasure of having a chat with my friend Jesse James Gomez.
That's right.
And he is heading up a group called the Concerned Citizens of New Mexico out of the southeastern part of the state. And several of our counties are all kind of pulling together to do some things, and hopefully the rest of the counties will follow suit. And I want to have him chat a little bit about that.
Okay.
But I'd also just tell me a little bit about your history in New Mexico.
Okay. Well, I was born in New Mexico, of course. Went to school in New York City when I was about 18. Lived there for about 12 years. I was actually overseas for about 5 years. I used to speak really good Russian. I was actually a translator. And one thing I always tell people about is one thing that I personally witnessed that really changed my life was I was in the Ukraine when the Ukraine fell, and I witnessed the May the 2nd riots with my own eyes, and I witnessed about 80 people get killed. And it was pretty awful, and that actually changed my life. And so that actually had a big effect on me and kind of changed my path. And like I said, I was a comedian for a long time, did a bunch of stuff, and it wasn't until, like I said, all this stuff kind of happened that I was actually watching what was happening in the United States and saying, oh my God, this is crazy. The shutdowns, the media just campaigned against this going on. I saw a woman on the Facebook, Stacey Harper, and she was actually a mother standing in front of herself, by herself in front of a Home Depot, handing out flyers. And I was like, God, that woman is brave doing that. And this was back in April. And somebody actually rolled up a flyer, threw it in her face. And I said, Jesus, she's brave. And she said, well, I'm in New Mexico, and I'd kind of lost my job. My career is over. So I called her up and said, can I join you? And she said, come on down to New Mexico. And if you want to help me, we'll get involved. And it was me and her and about 5 other people. In the past 6 months, we've grown on to almost 1,000 people with probably about 150 core members. And we actually started working together and just kind of figuring out what we're going to do. Started traveling around the state, trying to meet everybody, organizing people. We're the very first people to hold the open rally in southern New Mexico. We started doing town halls, getting people and just getting, Americans in a room, because I truly think that we as Americans can solve all of our problems. If we could just get everybody in a room without TV and without the government, we could solve all of our problems no matter what side we're on. And so that's what we're doing now. And right now I think we're exploding. I mean, we are just seeing more involvement. We've never seen such involvement than we've ever seen in these past couple months. I mean, people are standing up, getting involved, speaking out, going to meetings, walking down the street, meeting their neighbors. And this is the revolution that we've looked for and waited for. It's just, it doesn't take anything, it doesn't take violence, it doesn't take anything. All it takes is involvement. And that's what we're doing right now. And so we have some big plans for southeastern New Mexico, combined with families that are here, families from Clovis, families from Carlsbad, families from Artesia. And I see something really big happening. And I think we're going to see a renaissance of American freedom right now, truly a renaissance of American freedom.
So why are all these people doing this?
I think that, I think that people who have been wanting to get involved for a long time, the coronavirus, as awful as it is, and all the agenda behind it and everything, as terrible as it is, it's done something incredible, which is, like I said before, I wouldn't have met you if it wasn't for the coronavirus BS. You know what I mean? I would have met you guys, and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this. So I think that everything that they want, the exact opposite effect is happening, which is we're standing up, we're getting involved. And I think that's why people have said, you know what, enough is enough already. Now we're ready to act. And so, maybe it took time, but here we are, and we're going to do something. And I think that with Americans standing side by side, we cannot lose. I mean, we just cannot lose.
So you were saying something about, you had spent some time in Chicago.
Yes, sir.
And you were talking about what's going on there as a result of the virus and how that's affecting that, and talk a little bit about that, but also how you see that affecting our state.
Well, I think that, I was there, I was a stand-up comedian, and I'd been around, and right before actually I left Chicago, it was very sad. There was a club there. It was actually the biggest black-owned comedy nightclub. It's called Tin Doors, and it was owned by a really great group of people, and I actually got a chance to open for Hannibal Buress that week, and then I went to Mexico, came back, and everything was shut down. And everything was gone. And literally bars, clubs, everything gone. People's careers over. And it was really shocking just to see that. The thing is, for me, fighting the coronavirus agenda isn't only about the lockdowns and about everything else, education. It's also the destructive of the creative ability, which is gone. And I think that Americans are just feeling like this, emotional, constipation. And it's terrible because we're creative creatures and we need to create. And that's one of my big agendas, is that we can't create like we could. And they don't want us to create because the creative soul and the creative spirit is powerful, and we need freedom to do that. And in New Mexico is the same way. And the problem is New Mexico doesn't have the money or the ability to fight like Chicago does. They have a lot of money and a lot more stuff. And So I think that, but also on the flip side of that, New Mexico's small, and we can fix this place. I mean, there's only 2 million people here, and with a handful of people, we can change this state, and I think it's possible. And my changing of the state isn't changing it towards a political party, isn't changing it towards a political ideology. My changing of the state is returning us to a place where we're free, we're able to do what we want, live how we want, and that goes for anybody. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat, because I think it's more important that we bring everybody into this process.
Yep. And that's exactly why we're doing New Mexico Red as well, guys, because we want to pull everybody together and we want to see if we can make a change in this state. It's time for us to make some changes.
And it's going to start from the people, you know what I mean? Because no politician's going to save you. The courts aren't going to save you. What's going to save you is each other. The only people who've ever saved us, which has been each other, and that's the only people we can depend on. And take that as a good feeling, because we're going to win. I mean, with unity, we can do anything. And so not only are we going to take back our rights before coronavirus, we're going to take back everything we lost before that stuff. So that's the way I feel. And I feel confident. So I'm not worried about a thing. Some people are. I'm not worried. I feel great. So.
It's good stuff.
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Appreciate your time.